What is going on, guys? Noah Brewer here, and today we're going to be talking about why you are a noob in dropshipping. I hope you guys like the new mic and the new camera quality. I got a whole bunch of new equipment. But I have a few things I want to say on this because I see a lot of people getting into dropshipping and it seems like they don't know what they're doing, but at the same time, it seems like they know what they're doing. And I mean this because it's like you can get into dropshipping and do a whole lot of stuff, but it doesn't mean that you're doing the right stuff. And I see a lot of people get into it and they spend a lot of time, choosing what product they want to sell, choosing what niche they want to be in. And, they spend all this time building the store. But then when it comes to getting sales and advertising and stuff, they really just don't know anything about it. And they don't really know where to look to get more information on it. They don't really know anything. And that's what really matters is, going out there and actually getting orders, finding a winning product. And I feel like beginner dropshippers focus way too much on the wrong things. So I just want to give an example of some things that you don't want to be focusing on as a beginner, because this is kind of like if you take somebody who's been dropshipping for a while, like a seasoned dropshipper, whether it's with influencers or whatever, and you take somebody who is just brand new to it, they don't even have a store yet, they just heard of it, and you tell them both to go out and start a store and get their first sale, they're going to act very differently. The expert is basically going to whip up a store, maybe take them a day, maybe a little bit longer, depending on what their preference is or how they do things. Even if they have like a niche store or a one product store, it's not going to take them longer than a day, maybe a few hours to get that store up and ready. And they might even have ads running on the first day, right? Like where they just get everything ready, so quick and efficiently. And then you look at the guy over to the right, which is the beginner, and he's by the third day, he's still trying to think of a store name and he hasn't even thought of a niche yet or a product. And I know this because I see it all the time. And I see, I used to own a Shopify store like 3 years ago, way before I saw any success in dropshipping. I started it and it took me like 2 or 3 months just to get my store done. I spent like 3 days trying to think of a name. I spent, 2 weeks to a month building the actual store. And that's not even including finding the products and making all the descriptions. So my mind was all over the place. Like I just didn't know where to look, and I ended up not even running a single ad and then calling it quits just because I didn't get sales magically out of nowhere. Like it was kind of ridiculous. But yeah, these are the differences. So the guy to, the beginner is going to be focused on, building his store, what niche to be in, what product is he going to sell, probably not even really having any guidance to that, which isn't a bad thing. But he's just going to be spending so much time. So I guarantee you, by the time the expert is done getting his, by the time the beginner is done building his first store and getting ready to run ads, the expert has already multiple stores with multiple winning products under it. And the question is, what differs the expert from the beginner? Like what experience does the expert get in between becoming a beginner or being a beginner and then becoming an expert, or not an expert? I'm just saying that to mean somebody who's been doing it a while and somebody who's seasoned, right? Like it doesn't have to be a literal expert. The main difference, or like that main disconnect between those two, is the expert understands that the money comes from running ads. The money comes from having a good product, and it doesn't really have all that much to do with what your store name is, how your store is designed, what products you have, because the expert knows that you can just run with any old product that you start with, and if it doesn't work, you can figure that out, in a day, and then just move on to the next product. Whereas the beginner is going to put a lot of time into that first product, basically get married to the product is the phrase that we like to use. They're going to spend a lot of time trying to build a store and all that stuff, whereas the expert just kind of throws it up, and obviously he knows how to build a store and stuff. The beginner's going to take longer just to learn the basics, but even if that was the case, the expert will still be running ads quicker because he spends less time thinking on dumb stuff. So if you're a beginner, right? Like if you have a beginner's mindset and you're just thinking, oh, my store, my product, my store name, whatever, start thinking more like an expert. Like you need to understand that you need to start running ads as soon as possible in order to even have a chance of getting your first sale. And it's not about, thinking that your product is going to work. It's about going out into the marketplace and just testing it and see what happens. Because you can spend, a few months building a store, and this guy over here can spend 3 hours building that same store, and he's going to know within, the same day if it's a winner, and you're not going to know for 5 months. Just imagine if you gave each product that you tested 5 months just because you wanted to have, you know, the most beautiful store, the most amazing store name, and just like all this tacky stuff that doesn't really matter. And, you know, most beginners will go through that phase in the beginning, which is good. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't have a store yet, or you're going through the phase right now, just cut it out and realize that you need to think like an expert. If you want to get expert results, you need to think like an expert. So you need to go into their mind and think about things the way that they're thinking about things. They're just thinking about, I need to get my first sale, I need to find my first winner. So they're just like test, test, test. They know that they need to get to the space where they're testing products, you know, every day or every other day as quickly as possible. So they just get their store out of the way. Like, they get the stuff that doesn't matter out of the way, because the Facebook ads or the influence, whatever you're doing, that's the most important stuff. It's not, you know, what the beginner thinks is important is you need to have a good store and whatever, like all that stuff. The expert knows that the main thing that's the most important is running ads. So that's all I wanted to say in this video. I mean, I just want you to start thinking like an expert and leave that beginner mindset at the door, because you have access to people like me. You know, there's so many YouTubers out there and people who give out information and they share their mindset with you. So there's really no excuse to be out there treating this business like one of the beginners that just wastes time on stupid stuff when there's so many people telling you what you should be doing. So I just wanted to make this video to put that point across. But I hope you like it. If you did, leave a like. If you want more content like this, drop a subscribe. I really appreciate all of you who do. But this is Noah Brewer, and that's it. See you.